Okay, so let's discuss logarithms of complex numbers. So let z be equal to x plus iy, si complex number natin, and then find ln of z. So for example, find the principal value of ln of -8. So meron tayong steps na sinusunod in solving logarithms of complex numbers. So step 1 natin is to convert natin si z natin into exponential. So, since ln z to, this is ln z, ibig sabihin this is our z. So, z is equal to -8. And we are going to convert this one into exponential. So, how do we do that? Balikan natin yung conversion na ginawa natin sa mga complex numbers. Okay, so we find r. So, yung r natin will be equal to r is equal to the square root of c, real natin, -8 quantity squared plus our imaginary is 0. So, yung z natin, yung complex number natin is a pure real. Okay? Pure siya na real number. So, our modulus is 8. And if our complex number is pure real, our theta will be equal to 180 degrees. Kapag pure imaginary naman, our theta will be 90 degrees. So, if we convert this into polar muna, this will be equal to 8 angle 180 degrees. Now, we convert natin siya into exponential. So, this will be equal to 8 e I and then pi because 180 degrees in radians is pi. So, ito ngayon yung naka-exponential form natin. And then after that, we solve for ln of z, which is si z natin is 8e I pi. And then this will be equal to ln of 8 plus ln of e raised to I pi. Okay, so yung ginawa natin is rule ng natural logarithm na kapag multiplication to, paghiwalayin mo sila magiging addition. So, ito siya. Ln of mn is equal to ln of m plus ln of n. Yun yung rule na in-apply natin dito sa part na to. And ln e is equal to 1. Okay, so this will be equal to 1. So, i-cancel na lang natin. So, this will be equal to ln of 8 plus I pi. Okay, so ln of 8 is equal to, if you compute that on your calculator, that will be equal to 2.08 plus I pi. So that is ln of 8e raised to I pi. So that is example number 1. Now let's try example number 2 naman. So si 1, okay, so our z is equal to 1 minus I square root of 3. So convert natin siya into polar muna. So, our modulus will be equal to 1 squared plus negative square root of 3 squared. Ay, walang negative pala. So, square root of 3 squared. So, this will be equal to r is equal to 1 squared plus square root of 3 squared is equal to 2. Kasi 1 plus 3 siya. Okay. So, 1 plus 3 will be equal to 2. May negative pala. Okay. So, this one. And then, regardless naman kung may negative or positive, since na-square naman siya, okay lang. Okay? So, our r is equal to 2. And solving for our theta, that will be equal to tangent raised to -1 or inverse tan. What is our y? That is negative square root of 3 all over 1. So, since our y is negative and our x is positive, ibig sabihin, nasa ang quadrant tayo? Nasa fourth quadrant. So, kung ano makukuha natin dito is yun na. And our theta will be equal to -60 degrees. And if we convert this into radians, okay, so pi, that will be equal to negative pi over 3. Okay. So, Ngayon, yung ln natin, kinonvert natin siya into exponential na agad. So, this will be equal to 2e raised to negative I pi over 3. So, ln of 2e raised to negative I pi over 3 will be equal to ln of 2 plus ln of e raised to negative I pi over 3. So, this will cancel. That will become 1. So, ln of 2 plus minus. Kasi negative siya. So, minus I pi over 3. So, that is example number 2. Okay? So, now, let's have example number 3. Log of 1 minus I to the base of 1 plus I square root of 3. So, how do we do that? Recall natin yung rules of logarithm na kapag the logarithm of b to the base a is equal to log of b over log of a. So, yun yung gagawin natin dito. So, this will be equal to log of, okay, wait. This will be equal to the log of, what is our b? This one, si 1 minus I, all over the log of 1 plus I square root of 3. Okay? So, paghiwalayin na lang natin siyang isolve. So, at log of I minus 1 minus I pala. 1 minus I, we convert 1 minus I into exponential. So, our r will be equal to square root of 1 squared plus negative 1 quantity squared. So, this will be equal to the square root of 2. Okay, square root of 2. And our theta will be equal to arc tan negative 1 over 1. So, yung y natin is negative, yung x natin is positive. Ibig sabihin, nasa fourth quadrant tayo. And this will be equal to negative 45 degrees, and then convert natin into radians. That will be equal to negative pi over 4. So, this will be equal to the log of square root of 2 e raised to negative I pi over 4. Okay. So, this will be equal to log of square root of 2. Okay. So, we can have, pwede na nating isulat to as natural logarithm. So, ln. Okay. This will be equal to ln of square root of 2 e raised to negative pi over negative I pi over 4. Ayan. So, this will be equal to ln of square root of 2 minus or plus ln of e raised to negative I pi over 4. So, this will cancel. Magiging ln of square root of 2 minus I pi over 4. And then, for our, yung isa naman, dito na lang. At log of 1 plus square root of I square root of 3. So, computing for r, this will be equal to 1 squared plus square root of 3 squared. So, 1 plus 3, that will be 4. And then, our r will be equal to 2. And theta will be equal to arctan square root of 3 over 1. So, nasa first quadrant tayo since both are positive. So, arctan square root of 3 over 1 is equal to 60. And then, convert natin siya into radians. So, that will be equal to pi over 3. So, this is ln of 2 e raised to I pi over 3. And this will be equal to ln of 2 plus ln of e raised to I pi over 3. And this will be equal to ln of 2 plus I, this will cancel, I pi over 3. So, we now have these two simplified values for log of I minus 1 minus I and over log of 1 plus I square root of 3. So what we do next is to divide them. Okay? So dito na lang. Okay. So nasaan na? Yan. Si ln of square root of 2, since siya naman yung nasa taas, ln of square root of 2 minus I pi over 4 all over ln of 2 plus I pi over 3. Okay? So, what we do is to multiply its complex conjugate. So, ano ba yung complex conjugate ng denominator natin? So, palitan lang natin yung operation sa gitna. So, this will be equal to I pi over 3 times ln of 2 minus I pi over 3. So, this will be equal to ln of square root of 2 times ln of 2 is equal to 0.24. And then ln of square root of 2 times I pi over 3, that will be equal to negative I 0.36. And then negative I pi over 4 times ln of 2, that will be equal to negative I 0.54. And then negative I pi over 4 times negative I pi over 3, that will be equal to negative 0.82. Okay, so that is negative 0.82. This is negative 0.82. Why negative? Because negative times negative, that is positive. However, meron tayong I squared dito. And I squared is equal to negative 1. That's why naging negative yung answer natin. And then this will be equal to difference of two squares. So, ln 2 times ln 2 squared, that is equal to 0.48. And then I pi over 3 squared, that is equal to positive 1.10. And our answer will be equal to, simplifying this one, combine like terms, pagsamahin natin si real and then si imaginary. So this will be equal to 0.58 minus I 0.9 all over, we add this one, that is 1.58. And simplifying further, our final answer would be negative, that this should be negative pala. Okay, this one and that one. So this will be equal to negative 0.37 minus I 0.57. So that is example number 3. Okay, so those are the 3 examples in solving the logarithms of complex numbers. So, unang gagawin is to convert yung z natin, convert si complex number into exponential, and then apply yung law of natural logarithm na um, ln of mn is equal to ln of m plus ln of n. And so this is the second part. Ang una is to convert yung complex number into exponential and then apply this one. Tapos, simplify mo na lang yung answer. So that ends my discussion in the logarithms of complex numbers.